guess the next step for us is to support wallets, like GUI user-facing wallets to support it, right? I think that's the next step everyone needs. It also allows non-custodial exchange. You know how what people mostly want to do with Bitcoin and other coins right now is buy and sell them on exchanges.
Yes.
And I'm working on making it easier and more appealing to use them as a currency to buy and sell goods and services.
Yes.
But given that what people are mostly doing right now with coins is buying and selling them on exchanges, it would be a really great upgrade if they could do that without putting their coins at risk to the exchange, right?
Right.
So those atomic swaps could probably do, or some other related technology could do the same thing. So could make it so that you can buy and sell coins on an exchange, but the exchange never has custody of your coins. So if the exchange gets hacked or tries to steal, it can't steal your coins, or it can't get hacked and let your coins be stolen. That would be a big improvement. The first one we've already announced, and we've publicly committed to it. And then I have a couple of other ideas that we haven't really publicly committed to, but I think we'll have to. We'll have to do it this way. The first thing that we've already publicly committed to is an upgrade to the cryptography in Zcash. The first version of Zcash that we launched at the end of 2016. It was a cryptographic breakthrough. It was the first time that anyone could have full zero-knowledge protection on a blockchain. But the cryptography was very expensive in CPU costs. Do you know about this? It takes so long for if you want to generate a Zcash transaction, it takes about half a minute to a minute on your laptop of CPU time, right? So you say you want to pay someone, and you click send, and then it sits there for half a minute to a minute, and it heats up your laptop because it's maxing out your CPU. And it also takes several gigabytes of RAM. And it's not, nobody's ever implemented it on a smartphone at all, because the cryptography necessary to do that encryption or that cryptography would be too difficult for the smartphone CPU to be able to compute it in any reasonable time. So the main next step for Zcash is upgrading that cryptography so that it's efficient enough that it can be done on mobile phones. And we've already done the scientific research, which is yet another science breakthrough from our team, is that we figured out how to reduce the costs of the cryptography so it's 10 times more efficient in computation, like 10 times less CPU time. So it went from like 40 seconds or so of CPU time on a laptop to 4 seconds or so of CPU time on a laptop. And it's like about 100 times more efficient in RAM usage. So it went from requiring you to have like 3 gigabytes of RAM to requiring you to have like 40 megabytes of RAM. So that's the main thing. Now, we've invented this new science. Our team at Zcash has discovered new science truths about mathematics multiple times, and we have implemented technology based on that new science multiple times. This is really rare. Almost no team has ever done this. And we have deployed the new technology to like millions of users all around the world multiple times. And this latest thing, the improved performance of the cryptography, is like yet another such innovation. We've already done the discovery. We're currently in the middle of the implementation part. And then we're going to have to roll it out to all the users. And that part is really hard because we need to maintain security and stability of the network at the same time as we're upgrading the network. At the same time as more and more users are adding on to the network every day, right?
Right.
So we're focusing really hard on a certain kind of sweet spot, which I call the Goldilocks approach. Do you know the story of Goldilocks?
No.
Oh yeah, that's not a Brazilian bedtime story for children. That's like a European bedtime story for children. Once upon a time, there was a girl who went into the house owned by some bears, and there were 3 beds. And she got on one bed, and it was too hard. And she got on the second bed, and it was too soft. And she got on the third bed, and it was just right. And then she ate some porridge. And the first bowl of porridge was too hot, and the second bowl of porridge was too cold, and the third bowl of porridge was just right. And so on. So Goldilocks is the just right version that's not too hot and not too cold. Okay? So there's this thing we're doing with Zcash, which is we want to be more innovative and evolve faster than Bitcoin does. Okay? Because Bitcoin evolves very, very slowly and is maximally stable. And that's great. There's a lot of value in having maximal predictability and maximal stability. And since Bitcoin offers that value as a platform that everyone can rely on, then Zcash doesn't have to do that. Zcash can be a little more innovative than Bitcoin is. But we want to be more predictable and stable than Ethereum is. Like, we want to change slower than Ethereum changes. So our main goal for 2018 is just to deploy the improved cryptography at the same time as maintaining all the stability and predictability and keeping more and more users adding on to the Zcash network. And that's the first thing that we've committed to doing, and everyone knows what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. It's going to happen in 2 steps, in June and in September of 2018. But then after that, we also need to do a lot of other improvements, right? Everyone in the the cryptocurrency world is stuck on the scaling issue. Like, Bitcoin failed to scale, and that's really hurt Bitcoin's what it was previously being used for. Like, you used to be able to buy games on Steam with Bitcoin and buy like software from Microsoft, and you used to be able to use Stripe, which is really widely used for all kinds of businesses. You used to be able to buy backup services off the internet and pay in Bitcoin and all this stuff. And all of that has been turned off. They've stopped accepting Bitcoin for all of those uses because of the fees going up, right? And the same kind of problem is going to hit Ethereum soon, I think. And Ethereum, like we said earlier, it tries to evolve faster. So I expect that the Ethereum developers will try to fix the problem as fast as they can to allow higher scaling on the Ethereum network, but that's also more risky. And Ethereum has almost potentially an even worse problem than Bitcoin has with scaling, because Ethereum can be used for all these different things, like CryptoKitties and ICOs and other kinds of games. And so if you need to use the Ethereum network for your business or your computation or your project, you have to share it with everyone else who's using it for all their different projects, so it can get more crowded maybe. So that's what I think Zcash and everyone else has to solve before cryptocurrencies can be useful for a regular medium of exchange or a currency for large numbers of people. We have to solve scaling.